Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and I'm so glad you could join me today for what should be a pretty big one. Let me go over the timeline. Assuming that I can get this video done, and I do have some time constraints today, and then released for the normal Tuesday release, it will have been 1 week since Apple released macOS 14.0 Sonoma. If you saw my Ventura's Last Stand video, I gave a very strong warning not to attempt to install Sonoma on a classic Mac Pro until the release of OpenCore Legacy Patcher 0.6.9. At that point, I did not realize that they were going to jump in their numbering system. And in fact, just today, as I'm making this video, this is Monday, the day before the proposed release, they released OpenCore Legacy Patcher 1.0.0. So we're going to dive right in and get into this installation. So if you want to see how things go, please stay tuned. We are on the desktop of the test machine upon which we'll be attempting to install Sonoma today. If we look here, this of course is the releases page of the GitHub repository for OpenCore Legacy Patcher. And as of about noon today, true to their word, they released 1.0.0. Now if we look, we can see here the list of all of the machines that are supported. 2008 through 2018 Mac Pros. So that's the 3,1 through 5,1 of the Cheese Grater Mac Pros, and of course the Trash Can Mac Pro, which was released in 2013 and replaced in 2019. The 2019 Mac Pro, of course, is in fact supported for Sonoma, if you happen to have one of those machines. Alright, so I have already downloaded the patcher, and in fact I have taken the liberty of building and installing OpenCore just so we can take a quick look at about this Mac to see that yes, we do have one of the supported machines, Mac Pro mid 2010 right there, so this should work. Now I have built and installed OpenCore to the EFI partition on the boot drive. OpenCore Legacy Patcher now wants me to reboot the machine to apply it. And I'm going to do that, but I need to close out of the screen recording first. So hopefully next thing we will see will be a camera capture of the desktop booted back in. Stay tuned. Alright, so here we are. OpenCore did install and in fact we applied the root patches. Now hopefully this is going to work. I had decided to try to save a little time. I do have a rehearsal tonight, and I'll need to do some warming up, packing up my base, getting to the rehearsal, and hopefully still get this video made. So I downloaded the installer from the App Store. Here we go. Rather than going through the software update. Okay. Now about 14 minutes remaining. Given that this of course is an important one, I'll probably show a little bit more of the progress as we go along here, but we certainly don't need to wait through this screen. I'll do that for you. Stay tuned. Well, this has been kind of interesting so far. It's a little different than what I've seen using the patcher, it started out about 14 minutes, went up to 52, then came flying down, went to 28, sat at 28 for quite a while, and we're now about 5 minutes, so we should get the restart pretty soon. Stay tuned. Yep, it's going to restart itself, so let's kick it into gear here. Well, this is more normal. It will do this for a while and eventually come into a restart. All right, we don't need to stare at this screen. The progress meter is moving. Not super fast, but it is moving. So this may not be too long. I'll still take pity. Stay tuned. And the instant that I ended the last clip, the screen went blank. So we should be into our restart now. This is a point where occasionally, if it takes a long time, I have had to force it down and start it up again, then it kicks into action. But we're going to give it a while here. Up, here we go. Booting right into the installer. And going so quickly, we can't really see exactly what's happening. But so far, looking promising. Okay, it's slowed a couple of times, but not enough so that I could actually get a good look at what was happening. Yep, that's right now just the patching going on, so I'll spare you this. Stay tuned. And we're up to good old ramrod display now, which is what causes it to slow down. That's perfectly normal. And this could go on for a while, so once again, stay tuned. Okay, the verbose display has turned itself off, which leads one to believe it's probably restarting again. And I apologize so often. I don't know why this phone will not stay focused. It should do, there we go. Started back up again. Thus far, the verbose output has been completely on the main monitor, which is nice. Really no hitches so far. I'd been a little concerned about saving, and here's our Apple progress meter. I'd been a little concerned about that time-saving device of downloading the full installer from the App Store, but so far it doesn't seem to be making a difference. Okay, I'm sure you've all seen this before, so stay tuned. All right, that went pretty quickly. Machine is restarting itself again. Which it does take its time doing. By the way, that icon saying DisplayPort on there is, of course, nothing to do with the installer. It's the monitor indicating that it's looking for a signal on the DisplayPort. And, of course, it's over here on the other monitor. So we're booting into the SSD itself now. That's an NVMe SSD. Okay. And board commands. I'm not sure really what's going on now. Okay, it's shut down again. Well, let's hope it comes back here. Okay, yeah, just nice clean restart. And we have file position, attempt to set position for directory. Okay, but whatever that was, we're going now. Having lived through the Big Sur disaster and trying to deal with late bloom, it's always a concern when something slows up and doesn't seem to be working with the immediacy that you'd like to see it work. Okay, that was quick. I'm sure you saw it, that we saw an Apple very, very quickly. About to go to a gray screen. Okay, this machine has been doing this. I know what our problem is. We're going to restart and reset the NVRAM. So I'm holding down Control Option PR, since it used to be PRAM, of course. We're waiting for a chime. Here's one. This can take a while. I'm waiting for another one now. There's 2. I'm going to wait for 1 more. Now, I haven't seen any reports of other people getting that this version of the OS needs to be reinstalled warning. But I have run into it a couple times, and the PRAM reset usually fixes that. Once again, we'll wait for 1 more, and we should be okay. Does take a while. For those of you who have never had to reset the PRAM, you're fortunate. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. All right, now I'm holding, I released the other 3 keys and kept the Option key down, which would bring us into the bootloader. Okay, and it has. So, we're selecting the EFI boot, and boot into the SSD again. It should be installed. When you see that that screen, that should be an indication that the installation has actually been successful. If so, it's pretty expeditious. And it's going just fast enough that I can't really make out what the verbose output is saying, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. And about 9 minutes remaining. All right, stay tuned. All right, we're into the less than a minute remaining. And over the history of Apple OSs, that's always been a questionable warning, but recently it's been pretty accurate. So something should happen pretty soon, he said. So hopefully we'll actually boot up after this. The progress meter is about done. Okay, the other screen just came on. And it's white. Choose your wallpaper. Okay, I've been using the Big Sur wallpaper. Let's go with the Sonoma wallpaper. Okay. New iCloud terms and conditions. All right, now it's booted up. Click wallpaper to show desktop items. Okay. And new iCloud terms and conditions. Now, we can see clearly, you see what's happened with the resolution, the fact that there is no transparency. And we can't see the wallpaper. That's because of the root patches. So we're going to install the root patches. Now the installation of the root patches can take a while. The downloading is nothing. It's just to get the whole thing started. Yes, we know you're here. Okay. And the root patching itself can take a while. What's going to happen is once the root patches are installed, it will need to reboot to apply those root patches, and then you will see the difference, primarily the size of the icons for the drives and the size of the dock and the transparency of the dock. All right, so I'll work through this. Please stay tuned. Just as an aside, okay, here's our reboot. All right, that's good. One reason for staying with Monterey, at least for the next year, while it's still getting security patches, is that Monterey needed no root patching and still hasn't. So on my primary machines, I've got two of them, I am at least for now staying on Monterey. They will eventually go to Ventura, since we know now Ventura is quite stable. But for the moment, Monterey works great. Okay, so we should be getting the reboot again. There's our chime. And the bootloader showed up on the secondary monitor. The verbose output is on the secondary monitor. I am not going to switch it. This should go really quickly. If it stalls, if we encounter a problem, which I'm not expecting, I can rotate the camera over. It is, of course, applying the root patches as we go, and end of verbose output. Let's see if we get a boot here. This should be there momentarily. Always the optimist. Okay. All right. Yeah, look at that wallpaper. That is nice. Good of Apple to go back to that. But we can also see the root patches have been applied. We have transparency in the dock. The screen resolution is back to where it should be. We can take a moment here looking at About This Mac and see that we are in fact running Sonoma 14.0. All right, now I've got some setting up to do. I've got to accept Apple terms and conditions again, etc., etc. I'm going to need to live with this. At some point, we'll have a follow-up video on this, on whatever possible problems with Sonoma that I may have encountered. And I know when Ventura first came out, it was pretty buggy on unsupported machines. It's kind of buggy on supported machines, so I understand. But that's going to take some time. The big news here, OpenCore Legacy Patch 1.0.0 works well, and the installation of Sonoma went off pretty much without a hitch. The one thing, that error about the system needing to be reinstalled, I don't know if that's a problem specific to this machine. I've never seen it on another machine. Or if that's a problem that crops up for other people. If it should crop up for you. All you really need to do is restart the machine, reset the PRAM, and you should be good to go. All right, so like I said, we'll probably be back next week with a video about this machine and how Sonoma is running. I will eventually get back to the PowerMac G5 and the long promised report on Phoenix PPC. But for the moment, I think we can be done with this video. Be good to other people. They need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. We can make this world a better place. Any good we do for this world has to start being good to yourselves. The world is not yet a better place, so please take very, very good and careful care in these still difficult times. Yes, I've got other OS-related things to do. I've got some hardware-related things with the Mac Pro coming up. Quite a few things, PowerPC things, of course. We do have to get back to Phoenix, etc. But until all of those things are available on the channel, this has been Broken Electronics.